A chilling and dramatic encounter unfolded in the early hours of Sunday morning in the quiet area of Tonga View, Mpumalanga. A man, who was simply walking alone at around 2 a.m., suddenly found himself in a terrifying life-and-death situation. According to reports, he was confronted by two individuals who seemingly had the intention of robbing him. The situation took a dangerous turn when one of the suspects grabbed him from behind, while the other brandished a firearm, pointing it directly at him. Faced with imminent danger, the man reportedly fought back and, in a desperate act of self-preservation, managed to pull out his licensed firearm. In the heat of the moment, shots were fired, and both assailants were hit. Paramedics later arrived on the scene and pronounced both men dead. The incident immediately attracted police attention, with officers rushing to the scene after receiving reports of gunfire. Upon arrival, they found the man who had been attacked, suffering from head injuries sustained during the altercation. The police took statements from the man, trying to piece together exactly what had happened in those crucial moments leading up to the shooting. As part of their investigation, they also combed through the area, collecting evidence, including shell casings found at the scene. What stood out was the discovery of a firearm near the deceased individuals. However, upon closer inspection, authorities determined that it was a replica firearm. This raised significant questions about the incident. Had the attackers truly intended to harm the man, or was it an attempted robbery gone terribly wrong? These are the questions that investigators are now working tirelessly to answer. The man's firearm was immediately seized for further ballistic testing, a standard procedure in cases involving the use of a gun in self-defense. Law enforcement officers detained him, not as an immediate suspect but as part of the process of thoroughly investigating the circumstances surrounding the shooting. While the man claims to have acted in self-defense, police need to establish whether his actions were justified under South African law. The acting Provincial Commissioner of Police in Mpumalanga, Major General Zef Mkwanotsi, ordered a meticulous and thorough investigation, emphasizing that all facts must be carefully examined before any legal determinations can be made. The case brings to the surface a long-standing and highly debated issue in South Africa, the right to self-defense. In a country where crime rates have remained alarmingly high for years, many citizens feel compelled to arm themselves for protection. The Firearms Control Act of 2000 was introduced to regulate gun ownership, ensuring that individuals who possess firearms undergo strict background checks, receive proper training, and are legally licensed. The intention behind these regulations is to strike a balance between public safety and the right of individuals to protect themselves in dangerous situations. However, cases like this one often raise challenging questions about where the boundaries of self-defense lie. South African law recognizes the right to self-defense, but it comes with very specific legal conditions. A person is legally allowed to use force to protect themselves, but that force must be reasonable and proportional to the threat they face. There are three fundamental principles that must be met for a self-defense claim to be valid. The threat must be unlawful and immediate, the defensive action must be directed at the attacker, and the force used must be necessary and proportionate under the circumstances. This means that the legal system does not grant an automatic free pass to anyone who claims self-defense. Each case is scrutinized to ensure that excessive force was not used and that the response was genuinely necessary to prevent harm. In this specific case, investigators will carefully analyze whether the man had any other reasonable means of escaping danger. Did he have a chance to flee without using his firearm? Was he left with no choice but to use deadly force? These are the crucial questions that must be answered. Another key factor is the discovery of the replica firearm. While the gun used by the attackers was not real, the victim had no way of knowing this in the heat of the moment. If someone is being threatened with what appears to be a lethal weapon, the fear they experience is very real. South African courts have, in the past, ruled that the perceived danger matters just as much as the actual danger. This means that if the man reasonably believed his life was at risk, his response might be legally justified, even if the attackers did not actually possess a functioning firearm. This incident is not the first of its kind in South Africa. Over the years, there have been numerous cases where individuals have been forced to defend themselves against attackers, sometimes with fatal consequences. These cases have often sparked heated public debates about gun ownership, crime, and the role of the police in ensuring citizen safety. Many South Africans argue that they have little choice but to take matters into their own hands because they do not feel adequately protected by law enforcement. Others warn that a society where people take justice into their own hands can lead to increased violence and unintended consequences. The arrest of the man in this case does not necessarily mean he is guilty of any crime. Rather, it is a procedural step to allow for a full and fair investigation. His firearm will undergo extensive forensic testing, and investigators will review all evidence, including witness statements, security camera footage, if available, and forensic reports, before reaching any conclusions. If the authorities determine that the man acted within the legal bounds of self-defense, he may be cleared of any wrongdoing. However, if they find that he used excessive force or that his actions were not legally justified, he could face criminal charges. The acting provincial commissioner's call for a comprehensive investigation reflects the legal system's cautious approach to self-defense cases. The goal is to ensure that justice is served fairly and that all relevant factors are carefully considered before making a final determination. South Africans watching this case unfold will no doubt be paying close attention to the outcome, as it could set an important precedent for similar incidents in the future. As this investigation continues, it is essential to remember that self-defense laws exist to protect individuals from harm while also preventing the reckless use of force. The challenge lies in determining where to draw the line between legitimate self-protection and excessive violence. This case presents a complex scenario that legal experts will have to navigate carefully. What do you think about this incident? Do you believe the man was justified in using his firearm to defend himself? Should the law be more lenient towards self-defense cases, or do you think strict regulations are necessary to prevent unnecessary violence? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. Your opinion matters, and we want to hear what you think about this situation. And if you found this discussion informative, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Stay tuned for more in-depth analysis of the latest news and legal cases.